It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A fine Saturday matinee to you all. Mandy Kaplan, Tommy Metz. Hello.
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 You're fantastic for being here. You sound like the movie phone guy. Do you remember Mr. Movie Phone?
I never used it, but didn't he always just sort of say, and for Charlie's Angels, press 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great.
Welcome to Movie Phone.
I actually once convinced people at a party after I'd had liquor that I was the guy that sang the theme. It was my voice that sings the In and Out commercial.
Would you do that for us?
In and out, in and out. And I convinced them that I was, and I got like a number because that was back when we would give numbers and stuff.
Can we get them as an official sponsor so I can get free double-doubles?
Absolutely.
The double is the win.
Hello.
And now, Mandy, we know never to say to Tom, would you do that for us? That's a mistake. Those are trigger words now. They just became trigger words. Welcome, everybody, to the Next Reel Saturday Matinee, our weekly show where the Next Reel team gets together to talk about news, reviews, new trailers, our weekly list challenges, and so much more. I'm Pete Wright with Tommy Metz and Mandy Kaplan, and we are talking about first the news. Can we follow up on Ted Lasso? I don't know if you listened to last week's show, but my goodness, that Ocean Murph, he has a thing for Ted Lasso, as do I, as does the universe. And I know, Tom, you have now watched one episode. Mandy, where do you stand?
Have not watched it. Want to watch it.
Now, look.
Enjoy everything about it. Just haven't watched it.
Mandy, I'm telling you. Tom, catch me if I lie. This is a Mandy show.
Yeah, well, because I don't care about sports, and I love it. And I've only seen one episode, so I would think you would love it. And to go to, because we were talking about how the character, I was saying that it was not cringe culture because it, you know, I was tired of seeing Will Ferrell characters that are like really confident idiots. And you had said, well, Ted Lasso is kind of a confident idiot, but what you didn't get at was, or maybe you did and I wasn't listening, I'm watching Netflix right now, is the sweetness. He's so sweet. He has a confidence that just comes from everything's going to work out versus I'm smart enough to game the system. And so it's really neat. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit more to that, which is once you get through and I told you we've now watched it twice. And I think that confident idiot bit, it belies his sophistication. And I think by the time you get to those last two episodes, you see he's a maniacal genius. And he kills the entire team. So it turns out to be a real Jonestown kind of a thing. Sorry, did you not? You haven't gotten there? Okay.
Now it combines some of my favorite things. Football, cults. Do they burst into song? I'm sold.
Ryan Murphy's take on Jonestown in a little burg in London. The real news, though, is that he gets a season 3. You'll note we're still watching season 1. He just got his season 3 renewal.
Yeah, I did notice that even before its second season has gone into production, they've already said we're in it. So that's a great sign.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. And I love Jason Sudeikis. That's great. And everyone in it is really neat. Yeah.
He's so winning. Everything I've ever seen him in, he's so winning.
He really is so smart, too. And I think both Brendan, what's his name?
Hunt.
Brendan Hunt. What?
Old pal.
What?
Really?
You know Brendan Hunt? Brendan Hunt?
Brendan.
You know Brendan?
Yeah. Brendan and I did a musical, a country western musical.
Oh, I saw that musical.
Many years ago. Yeah.
I forgot that he was in that. That's right. Mandy played a waitress.
I did.
Mandy,
server, sorry.
Does your fame know no bounds?
I know. She knows so many fancy people.
This is amazing. Well, you tell him from me, I love him so hard. He is great. Coach Beard. Oh, perfect.
Feel free to massage a little bit of that, Mandy.
Yeah, you do it. You play that however you want. I'm fine. It's all good.
I'm going to leave the kissing out.
Very progressive. But now that we're talking about a little bit of Apple TV stuff, I'm curious your take on and your potential renewed fandom on this bit of news where we hear this week that the talented Jon Stewart is returning to TV, I guess, on Apple TV+.
Apple TV.
Yeah, he's turning to the Apple TVest of TVs. And he's going to be doing a, quote, current events show for Apple TV+. Obviously, former anchor of The Daily Show. He's now got this deal. He's been quiet. I mean, he directed some stuff. He's written a bunch of stuff. He's quite an advocate. But in terms of his daily kind of just sort of what do you call that? His sort of viral load of Jon Stewart, he has been fairly under the radar, and
yes.
I feel like this is
it's been a void.
Yeah,
I've missed him.
Totally.
I adore him and cannot wait to watch and support anything he does.
I wonder.
I have been getting my fix through John Oliver. I know it's a completely different person, but that's what this show maybe sounds like, because it said somewhere that it was going to maybe take on one big topic each time, and to do a deep dive with someone like him. We need more John Oliver shows, so that would be great.
I think so too, and I think Trevor Noah has done the good work of carrying the water for the Daily Show, but it is also a different show, right? It's a different show in tone. It's a different show in just sort of the texture of it, and the comedians that he is shepherding into the media landscape the way Stewart used to do. It's just a different show, and of course now he's faced with, we're faced with all of the comedy news hosts dealing with the pandemic. Right. To your point, I think John Oliver is probably he's my favorite of the batch right now too.
Sure.
The White Void.
What pandemic?
Oh, Mandy, have you not? Oh,
what?
Oh, you have got to read the news. Oh my God, as Pete is literally coughing.
Right. It's been a rough day.
I think, and I'm excited by. I mean, I'm sad, but also energized by a world that so needs his commentary that he is coming back.
Yeah.
I can imagine him just writing or saying jokes into the mirror, right? Because I don't understand how normal people live their lives. And so I like that he has stepped out for this period, but then knock on wood, depending on how the election goes, there's still so much to fix and there's so much to talk about, and not just be soaked up by the president each day. There's something really to look forward to about that.
And seemingly he'll be doing it on his own terms,
right?
In his voice,
right?
Which is cool,
right?
I've always been a tremendous fan.
I get the feeling, did you see his bit on, what was the thing that John Krasinski did?
Some Good News.
Some Good News. Did you see Jon Stewart's bit on Some Good News? Was exceptional. And it reminded me how great, and as you say, how needed he is. So I asked that as a super leading question, when what I really imagine is that Jon Stewart is Kal-El, returning to Earth from Krypton because we couldn't do it on our own. It's like Superman Returns.
Oh, Superman.
It's Brandon Routh coming back, landing in the field, and he's like, you screwed it up. I'm going to fix it again. We'll be fine. I'm super hunky. Flying's the safest way to travel. And
he's like, move aside, Samantha Bee. Right. I got this. Even though I love Samantha Bee
is fantastic. And she too. Yeah. They've been doing fantastic work during the pandemic in their backyard, in the woods. It's great. But I feel like Stewart he's coming back to right wrongs, and I think he probably still has it. I think he really has it on Apple TV Plus. I'll be very interested to see how they handle this bit, and especially since HBO. I mean, and this is the article we'll post in the show notes from the New York Times, that HBO has sort of ceded its premiere status, right, with HBO Max, and it's just it's just cluttered right now, right? Yeah. Where is the prestige programming from HBO right now? I think we have Big Little Lies, but it is buried in this mass of craziness, right? And so it appears with this acquisition and notes that Apple TV Plus is looking to acquire things like, or at least approached MGM for things like Bond, that they're trying to establish themselves as the HBO of 1985.
You mean to make new Bond movies?
Well, no, they wanted to actually, they were looking at, apparently, rumor has it, that they wanted to actually pay to get No Time to Die direct to stream. The new one that is stuck in pandemic purgatory. So I think that would be really interesting. And I wonder, I mean, since, Apple should just buy MGM. They've been struggling for years anyway, but it'd be interesting to see what it would cost to get something like James Bond, to get this sort of prestige stuff.
There was a time when HBO had a new series coming on, it was sort of all I could think of, and it was right away. And now, like I mentioned before we started recording, that I just started the first episode of The Undoing, which I love, and I love Big Little Lies, the aforementioned. But there's just a lot of shows on there, like The Third Day I'm sort of getting into, and We Are Who We Are I'm having trouble with. Lovecraft Country Nation I'm having a little trouble with.
Yeah, I had trouble with that
It's
too.
just like a lot of, it's a ton of shows, but they don't have the same hold that they used to.
Yeah.
And but I mean, part of that may just be also a result of maximum TV. There's also just 900 things to watch at all times. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's surely that. I think this idea of having fewer but spending more, creating bigger properties is probably pretty good. And I do think that Apple TV, I don't know. Did you watch Greyhound?
I did.
Yeah. That's all right.
It was just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting there. They're getting there. But man, if they had, I don't think they got I don't think there's any news on Bond. But
Okay.
If they get that, I think that becomes an issue. That becomes a power play. Power move.
I would like to talk about Borat, the subsequent movie film. Is that all right, Pete?
You do not need my permission. I just forgot.
I mean, I call you daily to ask permission on everything, so I figure why stop now?
That's why Mandy's such a big fan of The Vow on HBO Max. She's asking for permission all the time.
Second cult reference.
Yep.
No, Tommy said he had seen this and Pete has not.
No.
But the debate is always with Borat, like, how much do people know? What the heck do you tell people to get them to agree to appear on camera? And it fascinates me. I just read that the woman who played the babysitter has now come out and said, nope, I didn't know a thing. They were brilliant. They were tricky. I don't begrudge them.
You're wondering how in today's society you can continue to get away with that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. I think that people like cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people aren't, like, I'm very gun shy of cameras. Release forms are like, might as well be subpoenas for certain things.
Or the things we all click when we want to. Yes, I agree to all the terms on this website.
Terms and conditions. Yeah, exactly right.
You just, right.
And so how people like Giuliani get caught up in it, I have no idea. It's just a complete lack of foresight. And obviously he's surrounded by sycophants that are not reading anything. But normal people.
And he ends up alone in a hotel room with a young woman.
Yeah.
With no security, no assistant, handlers.
But no, I mean, I think a lot of people don't watch as much media maybe as we do. And so they're, I'm not exactly sure, but it's a good question. It's surprising. When I heard that they had filmed this in secret during the pandemic, I was like, I'm glad that the film did reference, though, it showed him being seen a lot and people walking up trying to take selfies and saying, hey, it's Borat, I love you. So he was very recognized to a certain amount of people. But then, but I also like that this film showed, even the first film was so much about taking advantage of rubes. This one still had part of that, but also secretly filmed a lot of sweetness. Like the aforementioned babysitter, who turns out to be a really lovely person and an advocacy for women's rights and all of this. And the joke being that his daughter, it was his daughter, is able to, it's like the woman is the straight man and the daughter just throws the comedy at the screen. I thought that was really interesting. It was a neat way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions. So now you've both seen it. Did you personally buy it? Did you buy what he's going for in making these movies in this style?
I don't know that I bought it, but I didn't care. I laughed.
Okay.
And I am a very critical viewer, particularly of comedy, and I laughed out loud a bunch of times. So I'm grateful for the gift of that. It's hard to say whether or not I bought it. There are times when it's extremely upsetting and scathing about America, and there are times when it's just ridiculous and silly, and it's easier to buy those times.
I buy it a lot more than I did Religulous, which was Bill Maher's. I'm bringing it up like it's a timely reference.
Religiosity, I think it was called.
Religiosity.
Religiosity.
No, I think it was.
No,
I think it was
I'm
religious.
I'm 100% right, but I like to yes and because it's changing the word religion into ridiculous.
Yes.
Anyways, because what he did, the reason I bring it up is because that was also directed by Larry Charles, who directed the first Borat movie. What Borat doesn't do, and which Bill Maher's film really does, is they use deceptive editing. He'll make a joke and then they'll cut before anybody has a chance to react. Whereas the Borat aesthetic is more let people go.
Right.
And a lot of times they're burying themselves. But yeah, so.
Well, I remember that sense in the first Borat movie, how stunning it is to watch people, when they believe they're in an authentic environment, reveal their true colors and do so in a way that is, they're presented with just unbelievably confounding ridiculousness, and they don't question it, right? They just go on and reveal their true colors. This time, I'm really curious because my sense is that, that experience of dealing with Borat on the street, knowing because he's now a cultural icon of some level, right? He's now, he's famous. And I feel like the message that I get just from watching the clips that I've watched is that, look, now we're still presenting that same ridiculousness. It's the same message, and we get the same disconnect. And now they are even more guilty of being disconnected from the people they represent, right? The politicians and the leaders, because now there's no excuse. Borat's a big deal, and they still don't know who the people are listening to, who the people are laughing at.
Sure.
Right? Like there's that disconnect, I think, is important. And I wonder if that's part of his initiative, if that's part of the mirror he's trying to hold up for us, and if it works.
It's hard to know. I mean, there's a family that he shacks up with, and my thinking is they're all like, oh, sure, it's like the Kardashians. We know what this is. We want to do this. And I don't know that was as prevalent whenever the first Borat was. I can't even think of it.
Right.
So I don't think people were so familiar with that concept of like, oh, you're going to bring cameras into my house and you're just going to film us in our everyday lives. Got it. Like, so I think to some degree that made it easier for him to infiltrate that lovely family.
Yeah. I remember laughing at the first one. I remember getting incredibly uncomfortable. It sounds like I should probably watch this.
Yeah, I think you'll do both at this one as well.
All right. Let's do trailers. And you know what? I'm going to do the first trailer. Let me tell you what happened. So we got a message from Mandy in our back-end Discord channel. Alleged message. We got a message saying, hey, I can't put my trailer
it's alleged by you. That's not the message is alleged. That's so alleged.
This is a real LA law. And so I am, I hear that Mandy can't, because she can't get it into the database and it's acting up, and I use the opportunity knowing that she has a trailer on deck, and I go ahead and I fix the problem and put my trailer in first, just so I could for one time beat Mandy on the clock. That was it.
It'll never happen again, my friend.
Yeah.
Take your victory lap, do your dance.
My trailer is Raya and the Last Dragon, an upcoming Disney animated film, and it apparently will hit theaters March 2021. And so they released what they're calling a teaser, but it's a 2.5 minute long teaser, or 2 minute straight teaser of some just glorious animation.
It looks awesome.
It is sumptuous, where we are learning of the legend of the world of Kumandra, a place where humans and dragons once lived together in harmony. It has been 500 years, and monsters now threaten the land, and it is up to our lone warrior Raya to track down the last dragon and finally stop the Droon for good. It is a journey film. It looks absolutely beautiful, directed by Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada.
Do we know their work from other things?
Badass.
It really does.
Yeah.
Oof.
It really
cute.
does.
I'm already in love with that little roly
Yep.
thing.
Well, and the cast is fantastic. I mean, right in the lead, Kelly Marie Tran and Awkwafina. Just incredible voice talents. Kelly Marie Tran is playing Raya, and Awkwafina is a water dragon who can transform into a human and is the last dragon in existence. Oh. Spoiler, it's Awkwafina. They couldn't lost her number.
The original title for the movie, I believe, was spoiler, it's Awkwafina. Where's the dragon? That's what we see swimming for like the very last second over the credits.
That's my guess.
That's my guess. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cool. I thought it looked great.
You liked it.
Yeah, and I don't care about animation usually. No, that's so dumb. I always part of my identity
a lot right
is
before you say I love this one, but I hate all others.
I know. I do that every single time, and I've loved like almost everything Pixar has released except for Cars. So I don't know why I keep saying that, but no, when I saw Raya and the Last Dragon, I was like, that sounds like anime or animation, and I was not excited, and then I was immediately hooked by the trailer. So thank you for posting
great.
it.
It's like Lara Crofty and Raiders of the Lost Arky, and it looks great.
Yep.
I can't wait to see it. It is just interesting on the Disney and Pixar dealing with their sexual harassment accusation time. This is the first movie without any involvement from John Lasseter, who has been completely dark. The first Disney animation without John Lasseter since Chicken Little in 2005.
But they say sometimes at night you can still see his Hawaiian shirt in the hallway. He wears Hawaiian shirts. The end.
So many Hawaiian shirts. All right. So I already said it. March 2021. Be on the lookout. Teaser looks fantastic. Link in the show notes. Who is next? I'm going to guess it's Mandy.
I believe it is. Darn it. I'm trying to find my...
What a disaster she is.
I know.
What a disappointment.
We're going to cut this in post. Okay, my movie is called Wander Darkly. And it is the reason I take Xanax. No, my movie is called The Prom on Netflix, the adaptation by Ryan Murphy of the Broadway smash musical called The Prom. And the cast is stellar. The look of it is colorful and bright and heartwarming. And it's Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman and James Corden and Andrew Rannells. It just looks... Keegan-Michael Key, who I have a big old crush on. It just looks fantastic, and I'm so excited.
We have come to this community on behalf of a young girl.
I just want to go to prom like any other kid.
All opposed.
You're not alone. And you do have friends, and we are ride or die. Where are they?
Okay, well, let's give this girl a prom!
I had a joke lined up when I started watching the trailer because I didn't know much about it. And I was like, my joke was going to be, man, they let Ryan Murphy direct everything. And then at the end it said directed by Ryan Murphy. I didn't know that his style has seeped into me. I'm a big Ryan Murphy fan when it's good. But this trailer, I said to myself, I'm talking to myself all the time, thanks COVID. But I was just like, God, I love musicals. I just forget there's musicals and this is a really well done trailer. It's very much in the exact same style that the trailer for Greatest Showman was. Pick a song, run with it, give a basic idea, and then hit it out of the park at the very end. It just gives me goosebumps. I'm just so excited for it. Yeah.
Me too. It's not saccharine. Like, it is a happy story, but it's not all like everybody just doing everything because they love each other. There's a lot of cynicism and humor and a darker tone to some of it. And I just am so excited. I can't wait. I don't know any, I really don't know any of the music. None of it, nothing felt familiar to me about this, which is weird because I don't truck that much in musicals anymore, but I feel like I'm kind of in touch with going on. I missed everything about this musical.
everything.
I'll call you later and sing a lot of the songs.
I was hoping that would happen. And,
You're welcome. Yeah.
It is, I really like it because from what I can tell, it's one of those where Murphy, and I think he's kind of exceptional at this, takes a very small story and makes it unbelievably large in production. Like, here's a very small thing and we're going to blow it up. And by the end, you won't remember that it's actually a very small story. You'll feel like all small stories should be told with this level of showmanship. And so I'm looking forward to it for that alone, because I think he has a unique skill in doing that for us.
It's like My Dinner with Andre, directed by Cirque du Soleil. It's just out of control. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. When can we see it?
December 11th on Netflix.
I'm super excited. You know what I'm not doing anymore? Like maybe reflexively or whatever. I'm not still having that. Yes. I am not going, man, I wish I could have watched that on the big screen. I'm okay. The trailer gave me goosebumps. I'm going to be fine. I think I'm changing. Is that
You're all grown up?
I'm all grown up. Yeah.
I feel it.
Trailer.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's The Prom again, right? You're just doing the prom.
My trailer is Ryan Murphy's The Prom. I just deliver it like it's a joke that no one just made. Mine is something that I don't know anything about. Sundance liked it. It's an official, and apparently Sundance is still a thing. It's called Wander Darkly.
I've told this story so many times, it's almost like it's a fantasy.
This was real. This is real.
You know, we both deserve to be happy. Are you happy?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's convincing. Why are we even together anymore?
We have a newborn baby. We just closed escrow. You want to split up?
I want to...
To everything there is a season. And time to be born. And a time to die. Should we start from the beginning?
Of time?
Of us.
It looks spooky, and it looks really uplifting, and it looks sweet. And one of the quotes is, it looks like I'm watching a poem. That was one of the reviewers said. And I was like, I like poems and fonts. So anything that involves the afterlife or a look into the afterlife, I'm always addicted to. And so this is something that I thought would be right up my alley. What'd you guys think?
I'm out. I can't.
Yeah.
It is truly my race to the Xanax bottle topic. So,
but it looks so romantic at times.
Makes me. I genuinely have a fear of death, and like I can't watch movies where somebody's facing death or in death or trying to get back from death. Like,
and you hate poems.
I do actually.
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough.
Like any movie, I don't know. It's like watching a poem. Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean. Sorry.
Mandy feels very strongly about poetry. Wow.
Yeah.
It's just a pretentious review. Like, that's just, it turns me off to think I'd be watching a poem.
That's what I felt like when I watched Tree of Life. Pete, what did you think of the trailer?
I think I liked it better than Mandy because I also loved Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yep. And I loved What Dreams May Come.
This is very akin to that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. And I feel like for those movies, I think it's and I too have some issues about death but I do feel like
Mandy has the copyright on that. Sorry. Everyone else is super psyched about death all the time.
I do feel like these movies, for me at least, enable kind of a conversation with death. You know, it's like in my head, like I feel like, oh, this is how somebody else is dealing with this kind of stuff. They're making wacko movies about it. And I can converse with that, right? I can address it. I can be in a kind of dialogue with it. And so I'm looking forward to it. I hated Tree of Life, though. I am on the record as being the antagonist for Tree of Life. I thought it was redunculous.
But did you see that one scene where he was shooting at the sun through a tree? Just kidding. That's the whole movie. Wander Darkly is coming out on December 11th, 2020.
I will be watching The Prom that day, so I am booked solid.
Yep.
Oh, I'm just going to watch the Raya trailer 97 times.
I really did love that trailer.
Yeah.
We did it.
New segment, everybody. We're very excited to bring a new review segment to you all. Marvel Reviews by Mandy and Tom. What we're trying to do is really address a whole market of movie lovers who maybe don't have the same level of attention to these big blockbuster superhero movies that a lot of us here around the Next Reel do. And we know that you, too, uniquely have a voice that might represent them. And as such, I thought we might pick a movie that falls right in both of your wheelhouses, that it is about a subject matter which you care very little, or, in Tom's case, are terrified of, and this is the most important bit,
What? Yeah.
neither of you have seen the movie.
Okay. And what you want us to
Possibly go wrong.
you want us to review it?
Now, this movie has a lot going for it. It is 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now,
Sure.
as you know, Tom has a legendary anxiety, a phobia of ants, and walked out of the original Ant-Man the moment the first giant ant, computer-generated fake ant, appeared on screen.
Do you remember my much beloved catchphrase?
Nope.
Yeah.
Do I?
Which I inadvertently screamed in a completely packed theater.
That has become a call in our house. Everybody knows that now. Nope.
Was it Attica? No?
No, it was just nope.
It was literally nope. That's the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, the ant showed up and I went, nope, and walked out of the theater. And I was in the middle row, so I had to walk past 20 people while I was itching my arms.
Now, here's the thing about this movie. I mentioned 2018. They created kind of a beloved character in Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. And the director, Peyton Reed, has brought us some fantastic movies, fantastic satires, director behind Bring It On, The Breakup.
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, absolutely. Peyton Reed is in our wheelhouse here, right?
Okay.
And we love the ageless Paul Rudd. You know, he's 50 this year, Paul Rudd.
He is?
Not a day over 22. I'm not kidding.
No.
50
In my
years
dreams,
old.
he's 38.
Anyway, and the other for a lot of us is Evangeline Lilly, who is our favorite Canadian cast member from Lost.
Is that Freckles?
It's Freckles. She plays Hope Van Dyne. She is introduced as the Wasp. This is the other miniature character who can be big and get very small. She is the sophisticated sort of partner.
Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Right. She's the partner.
That's what I'm gleaning, right?
Here is
Big, small?
Yes, big, small. Here is the review. Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, balances being both a superhero and a father. Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym present an urgent new mission that finds the Ant-Man fighting alongside the Wasp to uncover secrets from their past. We've all just watched the trailer, and now I invite you, listener, to join us as we hear Tommy and Mandy reviewing their complete review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. What'd you think?
I like movies that cut to black when people are talking. And if this movie cuts to black as much as when people are talking as the trailer does, I think it would be outstanding.
Forgive me, I thought Ant-Man was more of a parody of Marvel movies and had more humor and tongue-in-cheek and a wink. And this didn't at all. This was just badass action. It just didn't appeal to me on any level.
I'd like to list 5 names and see if you can tell me what you think they have in common.
Okay.
Gabriel Ferrari, Andrew Bauer, Paul Rudd, Eric Summers, and Chris McKenna.
They're a list of 4 people I've not heard of.
Plus Paul Rudd.
And then there's Paul Rudd.
Who are 4 people who have never been in my kitchen.
Are those all wasps?
They are all writers on the film. And I just wonder if there's any rule about having a minimum of 5 writers on a movie like this.
It's usually a great sign. Nothing. Yeah, it's that's.
Did this movie do well? Do people like it?
Yes, I would say IMDb. It is a 7.1 on the IMDb scale. Clearly exceeds the 6-star watchability rating rule.
Paul Rudd is a really fun, he's sort of the most relatable for me person in all of the Marvel family universe, the family universe, because he's always sort of like, he's almost an audience surrogate. He's not that good at what he's doing. He's always trying to catch up to his own technology, which makes him relatable. Right.
Mandy, what is Ant-Man and the Wasp about?
It's about a father trying to protect his family and the universe, and his creators who gave him all this technology also created the Wasp, and they're going to partner them up to fight crime before bedtime.
There is a building, but it's actually a suitcase in disguise, and they have to get the building suitcase on a roller across town at the last second, and they're being chased by a Hello Kitty Pez dispenser.
And it's like watching a poem.
And it's like watching a poem. It's Terrence Malick's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
One of the performers in this film that we don't see in the trailer is Walton Goggins. Are you familiar with Walton?
I
You're
love
familiar
Walton
with Walton Goggins? All right. I'm curious if you could. I'm curious if you could reflect on what you imagine a guy like Walton Goggins would do in a movie like this.
Play an evil, power-hungry, mad guy.
Well, what insect does Walton Goggins most resemble? Because I assume everyone else in the movie is just more insects. We've got ants and wasps. They're no friends, but they're palling around in here. So Walton Goggins is what, like praying mantis, maybe? But like a racist praying mantis?
Do you want to know? That's the first thing I thought of, too.
Really?
Walton Goggins is a praying mantis. I had a feeling you were going to go down that road. Let me name a few other people you didn't see much of, if at all, in the trailer, and see what other insects you think they actually played. Now, we did see a little bit of lovable Michael Pena.
He's delightful in the first Ant-Man, which I did watch with the help of Justin Yeager, host of the show, because he would tell me when I could look back at the screen when all the ants were gone. And it turns out, not very much. But Michael Pena is very sweet. If he was an insect, he'd be a golden retriever. Is that an insect?
How about Bobby Cannavale? What do you think he is, Mandy?
Walton Goggins' evil boyfriend.
Yeah, or like a junkyard dog.
We've really pivoted from insects to, dogs. And I'm just curious about how we did that. That's what I'm just going by Tom's review so far.
I said praying mantis, and then I immediately forgot of every other type of insect. So that's why I have gone to canine. Mandy, what do you think that Bobby Cannavale, if he was an insect?
A scorpion.
Are those insects?
I don't know. He had him crawling in his ears in Jumanji is all I know.
Don't care for it.
Yeah.
Outstanding. A couple more. The lovely Michelle Pfeiffer.
Weirdly, we're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp, and this is where Casey is in his viewing of the canon of Marvel movies. So he explained to me that she was the Wasp, but she's disappeared, and they're not sure if she's dead or not in sending messages. So she is the older incarnation of the Wasp.
Not bad.
Because you can't be like, your child is stupid. You can't say that, Pete. So you're like, yeah, that's dead on. Good job, Casey.
No, Casey's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great.
But if she was a wasp, she'd be like a sexy Halloween costume lady wasp. Like how all insects become sexy on Halloween. Like it'd be like a wasp in a coconut bra. So sexy.
Wow. Tommy, do you need a minute?
I peaked during Bugs Bunny. That was my sexual prime. So everything is a coconut bra to me.
One more, and that is the good Dr. Hank Pym, played by Michael the Game Douglas.
Yeah.
I feel like have we run out of names for fictional people? Dr. Hank Pym? That can't be. That's such a weird
Pym
name.
Van Dyne. That's another one. Dr. Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah. I guess we just ran out of. Okay.
Yeah, no. So now it's just letters.
What insect gets his wife? Family podcast. I think it's the beetle. All right, enough.
Please, final comments, because this Ant-Man and the Wasp has just become extraordinarily pornographic. And so I'm wondering if you could bring us home.
3.5 wings.
I would say it's a real stinger.
There we go. Mandy and Tom actually reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp 2018 Peyton Reed film, which they have never seen. And now, let's do lists.
Lists.
Everybody loves a list. There's usually more than one.
This week on the show, we're talking about Piranha on the main show, and that means we're talking about ridiculous breath-holding sequences. Have you seen Piranha? Do you know about the Piranha? Either of you?
I was a big fan of the reboot of Piranha that Alex somebody did. Piranha 3D or Piranha 3 Double D or something. I like that.
Well, there's the 3D and the 3 double. Those were different things.
I like the first one of those with Adam Scott and Marcellus Wallace. I don't remember his name.
The first movie is about the piranha. They're slightly government altered piranha. They get into.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why
slightly
is
government.
that?
Well, because
to make them even more scary, or
so that they breed much faster, and they were in the whole as a plot. Okay, here let me just unravel it for you.
Okay,
they were invented in this government lab to destroy Vietnam. They were going to be unleashed.
Oh, scientists!
I mean this. This is serious. This was dead serious. Government tried to do this to release this particular strain of piranha into the rivers of Vietnam during the war to destroy Vietnam because it would eat all of the fish. Of course, what they weren't thinking about was what happens when this special happy breeding live forever version of our piranha gets into other river systems and oceans in the world. I guess they'll do everything. So they kept them in this abandoned government silo in high up in the mountains with one crazy doctor overseeing the whole place. And wouldn't you know it, those crazy teens hiked up and decided to skinny dip in our opening sequence, and they do not fare well.
No one ever does when they decide to skinny dip in an opening sequence.
But what I love about this in the closing sequence, the entire final act of destroying the piranha is eco-terrorism. And that's where we have our hero who dives down underwater in the river system to turn the giant valve to release pollution into the river system and kill the piranha. That's what this movie is about. Weird. If you haven't seen it, you know what? You're still going to love it.
Sounds just like my bachelorette party.
So he holds his breath for about 16 minutes. And so that's what got us thinking about. Let's look at movies.
Okay.
Where we have a central character who's holding their breath crazily. Some of them that I came up with were crazy and they wouldn't hold their breath that long. But then I got kind of excited about characters that actually are holding their breath that long and they can do it and it's legit. We just had an article this week where they were talking about the production of Avatar 2, which takes place all underwater, and the characters are having to learn these techniques to hold their breath for upwards of 7 minutes. These are actors that you know and love who have learned to hold their breath for upwards of 7 minutes.
Humans can do that?
Humans can do that.
Oh, yeah, deep diving or whatever that's called.
Free diving. And what an awesome thing for you to say to introduce my movie, which is 1988's The Big Blue.
Luc Besson.
That's
right. Free diving. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, free diving. This movie tells the story of Jacques Mayol, played by Jean-Marc Barr, and Enzo Mallorca, played by Jean Reno. The Professional. We love them. And they have a real sparry relationship about who can dive deepest, who can hold their breath the longest. And this took me down some really crazy Wikipedia pages learning about freediving. Do you want to know?
Freediving sounds terrifying.
I think
you should save that for our other podcast.
It's going. Yeah. It's going.
What's that smell?
I would love to know if you could even remotely guess how deep in meters the deepest freediving participant has ever gone. Who's the world record? I guess I should say, who holds the world record?
1 meter.
Mandy says 1. I'm going to say 8.
Because I'm doing that thing that they do on Price is Right. You know, like,
well, you've. I'm pretty sure you both lost because that's only like 3 feet.
Yeah, but
I'm
yikes.
short.
It's actually 253.2 meters.
What?
Like, just, do the math. That's
what is that in bathtubs?
Niche.
Okay.
Niche. It's over 750 feet underwater, holding your breath. He did it in Santorini, Greece in 2012, and nobody ever saw him again.
Good for him.
I don't know if that's true.
Wait, he didn't come back up?
No.
It's easy to have a record if you don't have to still be living.
Right.
That is true.
He holds the record, and it is crazy. There are all kinds of different sports around holding your breath underwater. There's distance, depth, time. People just love holding their breath. And so I'm starting with the Big Blue. It was probably a guilty pleasure for me right now.
Okay.
I don't know that a lot of people love it. I know there are some people on our very team who really, really detest that movie, but I quite enjoyed it.
It was a steal.
And,
you stole it from me.
Are you serious?
No. I don't know that movie.
Mandy, you troll. All right. Tommy, you're up.
Do you guys ever do? I used to do this as a kid. Whenever there was a movie scene where someone had to hold their breath, I would hold my breath along with them.
Oh, yeah.
To see if I could.
You're such an empath. That is so sweet.
I've never been able to do it, but I also used to try to hold my breath through tunnels. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Okay. Anyways, so my list starts with this is from a series of movies that I deeply love, and I used to work with the man that directed the second one, which is not the good one. My answer is Mission Impossible.
Have the doves?
Yeah. Ugh. Mine is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Tom Cruise, or as I like to call him, Tommy. He has to dive down into a thing, and there's a big robot arms going around, and he holds his breath for the entire time. I believe they said that he held his breath for actually like 5 minutes in real life. But the whole thing is 6 minutes. This is hot off the press. But the whole thing, it's weird because there's a lot of CGI going on in that scene. So it's kind of like, why? Why didn't you just not do that? But either way, I love that movie. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. He holds his breath, and there's probably like a file that he was going after. I don't know.
There's a chip. There's chips.
It's a chip.
Chips. There's chips on files. Files on chips.
Mandy, how about you? Let me guess. The Prom?
Well, I'm going to start with a movie that I think one of you might have put on your lists, and I want to steal it if possible, right?
Rude.
Yeah,
right.
that is how you play the game.
And I've never been called a troll before, Pete, and that's going to haunt me tonight. I just want to say that. So, I don't care for that.
Okay.
Okay. So,
We'll do it a lot more, so it'll be like exposure therapy. You troll.
Thank you. Get me over it.
That's our little nickname around the house here.
I don't know if this is accurate, but this is one of the first movies that popped into my mind, and I'm gonna say it with confidence, so you think,
interesting.
Oh, you're right. Yes, and that's on my list too.
Okay.
Splash. Does Tom Hanks not like jump in at the end and go underwater with her?
I do not remember at all.
Let's just say that happens. Yeah,
I believe he does do
ends.
that.
He goes underwater with her, and they're like swimming around and making googly eyes at each other, and he's underwater for the end of the movie.
But doesn't she give him like secret powers, superpowers?
That doesn't help my case in making it fit into this list, so we're going to say no.
Understandable. Yep.
Yeah.
Splash. I love it. I only remember one scene from that entire movie, and it's John Candy. They come in, and he's in shorts and barefoot fishing in the fish tank that they saved her from. And he goes like, "Hiya, fellas." The end. All right.
That was the whole story. And for me, it's the unfurling of the tail in the bathtub. Flip. Right?
Yeah.
And also, aren't they in, isn't it? We even did this on the show. I can't remember.
With like the shell.
She does. Yeah. And now, of course, there's the long hair butt because they digitally added long hair to cover her bare butt in the Disney Plus release. Yeah.
Early CGI.
Yeah. No, it's today's CGI.
Oh.
On that movie. Yeah, that's it. They were just very upset about the fact that there was bare butt and has been for 25 years. Now they decided to cover it up.
And I remember her fish All right, Pete, you're up next.
Michael Douglas remembers it too.
Oh! Woo! Red Lobster. All right, Pete, go for it.
The next are the worst. The next criteria that I was sort of trying to massage my way around. The first one was obviously Big Blue. It was just like these are people who hold their breath for a long time. Free diving, it's a sport, legit. The second, I'm thinking, what makes the act of holding your breath more ridiculous is what you are doing underwater
right
at the time you are holding your breath. Okay? So you might not be holding your breath for very long, but you're doing things that make it so you would not be able to hold your breath that long.
Yeah.
And I feel like for this one, we've got Kingsman, the Secret Service.
We have our first steal. Well played, Pete. Right. Well played first.
Now who's the
steal.
troll?
Yeah, you are. Remember from before?
Yes, you're still the troll.
Maybe you forgot. You are. Yeah, no. It's the training. It's the training sequence.
Absolutely.
When Eggsy has to go break through glass and stuff.
Now, who does? He punches that thing 6-7 times and then breaks that giant pane of glass.
Yeah,
and that is an awful lot of energy, exertion while holding your breath,
exciting.
And I think that's ridiculous. There you go, Kingsman, the
Very
Secret
good.
Service.
I love it.
Outstanding.
Stolen. All right. It's me. Well, now I'm not going to say the Kingsman, so I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to instead say,
shelf.
If there's one thing that I love as much as holding my breath, it's magic. And I am an unapologetic lover of the trashy film series Now You See Me. And in the very
shut
first,
your mouth.
Love it. I love it. I love the films.
The first one.
I love both of them.
I
and
love
you
both
do
of them too.
I've decided that you love the second one almost as much, Mandy. Yes. Yes. Isla Fisher, I believe, who was not invited back to the second one, is, speaking of piranhas, right? She's locked in she seems to be doing some kind of concert in a WWE ring. It's not a legitimate looking venue, but yes, that she's locked in something and then they're going to drop a bunch of piranhas on her and then she dies and she doesn't because magic. And so I'm going to say, Now You See Me, the first one. Now
it seems like you're not celebrating the well-known underground trash magic circuit that she obviously frequents.
It's so much. Right. I was like, where's the ticket booth for any of these things? It's just, they're just performing in the middle of a street. And he's like, I made rain go up. Goodbye. Magic. Like,
this is straight up like Deer Hunter. It's Deer Hunter Apocalypse Now sequence where like she's going to go on and then they're going to come on with the little guns and everybody's going to throw their money down and that's what it is. Trash magic. You heard it here.
Trash magic.
All right, Mandy, what do you got?
The same movie as I had the first time, only animated. The Little Mermaid. Prince Eric also goes under to pursue his love. I assume anybody holding their breath is doing it for love, which is my theme. In honor of Rob Cabasco, that my theme goes through because my third one has to do with love as well, because I'm a loving person, not a troll.
Oh,
you really made an impact tonight. This is fantastic.
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. The thing is, I never feared for Prince Eric because he was a cartoon.
He was dreamy.
He was. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Paul Rudd. I'll say it.
Ageless. Ageless.
Did you know he's also 50? Weird.
So weird. All right. My last one.
Yep.
This was really, it turns out this is really difficult. And I can't wait for the honorable mentions because my list is long and distinguished. But I am going to go here to Sigourney Weaver.
Say so yourself.
If I may say so myself. Yes.
Beep, beep.
I am going for Sigourney Weaver in Alien Resurrection.
We have our second steal.
Oh,
man. Alien Resurrection. Yeah, this is Alien Ripley getting all wiggly in the water. That is actually, I'm not a huge fan of that movie, but that sequence is legitimately terrifying. To be able to be almost out of breath and then to have an alien poke you back. Yikes.
Chase and
Yikes,
pull
yikes,
you.
yikes.
And yeah, like the things you are doing underwater would make it impossible for you to do anything else underwater other than die. Which is that's what the aliens do.
I really thought that no one was going to bring that one up. I was so proud of myself. All right, fair enough. Pete.
All right, what's your trash pick? Because I've now taken 2. We're now at your number 5.
He doesn't have a number 5. Look at him panic.
It's between 2. I have 2 more.
Are you checking the shelf? Excellent.
Yep, just gotta
check the shelf.
Just gotta do a quick Google.
Oh, geez, water's boiling. Be right back.
This happened last week. Remember, you stole all of mine, and I had to look. But I know I have one.
My chicken fried steak is ready. I'll be right back.
Oh, I do have one. This is actually one that I wanted to do on. No, wait, hear me out. I am a big fan of this movie, and it's pretty drowny, and it is the remake of Poseidon.
Kurt Russell.
The original was the Poseidon Adventure. Kurt Russell, a bunch of other people, Johnny Drama, who plays Johnny Drama, and I think it is a really exciting and really good movie. This was the chance for Josh Lucas.
Yeah,
the star Josh Lucas, who is completely movie star handsome. In this movie, he plays the Gene Hackman role, which is like the leader, come with me if you want to live, Terminator style.
Which is odd because he took over the voiceover for Home Depot or Lowe's from Gene Hackman.
That is true. Weird. So they're just following each other around. We should have done your trivia game. Yes. So Josh Lucas, because this was his big chance to be a leading man on a tentpole movie. Unfortunately, the movie really underperformed, but I think it's really fun and really suspenseful, and I kind of feel like you watch Kurt Russell drown in real time. So I don't know if that's unrealistic breath holding, but it's pretty remarkable. So yes, there's a lot of people drowning, holding their breath. Good work.
So much breath holding. Yep. So much. Extraordinary breath holding. Excellent pick. All right, Mandy, bring it home.
So again, Doing It for Love.
Oh.
And now this one, I thought I nailed it. This was like the first one that occurred to me after Splash. And my lovely husband, Jeremy, was like, no. He really wasn't holding his breath. He really was drowning. But then it has a happy ending. And I think he was holding his breath because he was a young boy who wanted the hot lifeguard to save him and give him mouth to mouth. I'm going Sandlot.
Wow.
Oh, man. I have to tell you.
It and held his breath under that water, pretending he needed to be saved.
That is
controversial take.
That is a controversial, but you know what? I think I stand with Mandy.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Tom?
I don't stand with trolls, but no, it sounds great. I'm just kidding. I love that. I don't remember Sandlot that much. I watched it very late in life after it was not enjoyable. So I only remember the big dog, but I don't remember the scene of which you say, but I believe in you as a person, and I want you to succeed.
You're killing me, Smalls. You remember that?
Right. Yes. Good choice.
That is a great choice. Holding your breath for love. I like to imagine now that every love scene involves some holding your... I bet Cusack was holding his breath with the thing. I'll bet he's just holding his breath. Yeah.
I looked up as a backup that movie Wild Things because I remembered Neve Campbell and Denise Richards
comes up
in
out of the
pool.
water.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they were in a pool and they were making out, you have to hold your breath to do that.
Breath.
But I couldn't find a scene where they were kissing in a pool. But in my mind, they were.
They 100% were. And I own that movie. I actually can see it on my...
Were they wearing coconut bras, Tony?
That movie is... They are in my cut. Yeah. I upload all of my movies to Final Cut Pro, and I just apply coconut bees.
Okay, none of my extra picks were that good compared to those last ones.
My only other one that I just thought of was The Abyss.
Yeah, The Abyss.
Which I deeply love, and that's a huge amount of breath holding.
It was ridiculous. But she was already dead, so she earned it.
Right.
Oh, so good. Did you have any backups,
Spoiler.
Mandy?
Wild Things.
That was your backup. Oh, all right.
And then another one that I theorized, The Shape of Water, but I looked it up on Coda. We're not supposed to bring it up because it's been brought up.
No, you can bring it up again. You just have to be able to justify
I'm
it.
very scared of getting in trouble on this podcast.
Oh my goodness. This is what I wanted
in
to
my
avoid.
memory, she holds her breath and goes under with him, but again, I remember that from Splash, and we're not sure if that happened. But for this list, it happened.
I love it.
It sure did.
Confidence. Yep.
I had James Bond in Casino Royale. Vesper's last breath in the elevator underwater. He dives in.
Oh, in Venice?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
Okay,
going
yep.
down.
Oh, that's
and
right.
He's swimming and he's dressed, and I think he's still wearing his shoes, which we all know is not possible. Come on.
Yeah.
But the guy's still a torpedo. Fine. But then he's like trying to break open the metal bars, the carriage on the elevator, and reach for her. And you see air bubbles coming out of his nose. He would be dead. I don't believe it. I just don't believe he could. Even James Bond. Paul Giamatti. You remember Paul Giamatti's underwater investigation sequence in Lady in the Water, where he swims in the pool because there's like hair in the pool, and he finds a human-sized
what's Lady in the Water?
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, that hit his real fall from grace. That's right. I saw that. That movie was insane.
Of course you did. Yeah, it was bonkers. But he goes underwater and he finds like the little crazy alien rocks, and there just happens to be a giant human-sized grate and tunnel under their pool. And but he does a lot of investigation by the time he finds the door. I just don't believe Giamatti can hold his breath that long. I just don't believe it. And finally, do you remember this one I did because of Portland? Do you remember Men of Honor?
Yes. No. Wait.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and De Niro. Right?
No. No. Oh wait.
So
they're
Cuba...
underwater. They wear the big helmets and they go underwater.
Yes, in a bar. Yes,
That's
it was
right.
a bar. It was a bar dare, and they had to hold their breath. That was the stupidest sequence of a litany of stupid sequences, leading to the stupidest finale in the courtroom that they've. I mean, it sullied courtroom sequences forever.
I want to see it. You really sold that one.
The worst. That's what we got for breath holding sequences. Yay, us. And now we get to move on to next week's film. We're continuing our Aquatic Killers series with 1997's Eric Stoltz vehicle, Anaconda. 1997.
Do you know my favorite moment of Anaconda?
Would you like me to guess?
Yes.
The magical waterfall?
Yep. Mandy, in Anaconda, which I assume you...
That's Fantasia.
I assume you have not seen, there is an establishing shot of the boat. They're all on a dumb snake hunting boat, and it pulls in, and there's a waterfall in the background. Clearly, they forgot to get a establishing shot of the boat leaving, so they run the exact same shot backwards, and the waterfall is going up. And this was a movie.
It's an old-timey movie
released in theaters.
Yes.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's rough.
Brought to you by the studios of Boomerang.
Well, and that's exactly right. You know what's funny about this movie is it really exists like at this collision of like animatronics and CG. And the animatronics were great, but still you could kind of, you would not be able to believe it 100%. And then the CG was terrible. And so jamming them together just didn't really work. But I had a great time with this movie, and I had so many tropes. I love all the tropes. And so
the movie knows what it is too. Any movie where a snake spits out John Voight and he winks and then gets re-eaten, the movie knows that it's trash. So go for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have a bunch of opportunity here. I think we have just grand opportunity to come up with a great list for next week's crew.
I would like to suggest one because I've seen the movie.
Yeah, this is delightful.
In a real, can be fairly mid to big budget movie, an obvious movie mistake. Meaning like
big budget, but obvious movie mistakes.
Correct, exactly. Like you can see the grip in the background, or a plane flies over Lord of the Rings, something like that. Snubs and flubs.
So I've got obvious
like
movie mistakes.
Error or something.
Oh, good. You want to call it that? Continuity errors in big budget movies?
Mm-hmm.
Is that good?
I love
Do we
that.
like that?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we also have a list of things that we've come up with to choose from. If you don't have any others that you're super excited about or inspired for, let's run through the list. Movies in the Amazon. there are a lot of Amazon movies. I think we can drill down from there. How about Don't Go Off in the Dark to Have Sex in a Horror Movie?
Oof, that's
Pretty
every horror
tropey.
movie, though.
All the horror movies.
Yeah.
Jon Voight, you already mentioned Jon Voight. He is spectacular in this movie.
Do you want to go see the anaconda? Right. Yeah, he's from 8 different countries at once.
Oh, you think they don't eat people? Okay. So over-the-top accents, perhaps?
That's fun. I love that one.
Yeah.
I think we could even have like over-the-top international like portrayals. You know, his whole character is...
Sure.
But I don't know, maybe over-the-top accents is
I like
enough.
that one. Let's do that one.
Okay.
Wow.
Sorry, is that not how?
Decisive.
Yeah, no, it's
I
good.
like
No,
it,
this is a
Tommy.
whole new Tommy. We have animal hunters / poachers, poaching
Too
movies.
sad.
That's really okay. Nope. How about Let's Follow a Film Crew movies? Movies where because this is a National Geographic film crew. They go off to do a thing. Movies where they're making movies.
I like that one. That's a fun one.
Me too. Let me just run through the rest and see if that one sticks.
Nope, I've made my decision. Okay, go ahead.
Unique camera positions, possible hero taken out early in the movie, or taken out early by a mole in the group. And this was a play on Eric Stoltz, who's in the movie for about 37 seconds.
I don't remember him. Okay.
And then Frank Welker making a unique animal noise. So really, we're looking at the catalog of Frank Welker movies. He does play the role of the snake in this movie.
Okay, got it.
And the last is snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Just snakes in
Movies
general?
about snakes.
I like all of those. We'll all vote. I vote for Let's Follow the Film Crew because Hollywood loves movies about movies. And that's what I'm going to say. Mandy?
I want Tommy to stop calling me a troll, so I will agree with him. Because everything he says is pure
Let's
magic.
I love it.
Follow the Film Crew gets it. That's next week.
Or movies about proms.
That's what we've got. Good show, everybody. Thank you for downloading and listening to this show. Do you want to vote? We're going to leave it up to members to vote. If you want to vote in the challenge, head over to the Show Talk channel in the Next Reel Discord community. You can lend your vote to the chaos that is list picking and movie sabotage each week. How do you get access to the Show Talk channel, you ask? Great question. All you have to do is head over to patreon.com/thenextreel and become a supporter of the Next Reel family of podcasts. For $5 a month, you will become a concessionaire supporter and get access to show live streams as we record, early access to shows in your very own personal podcast feed, and access to the super secret member channels in the Next Reel Discord. Thanks, everybody, for supporting us. For those who already have, and for those still thinking about it, head on over, give it a shot. Patreon.com/thenextreel.
Hooray!
Thanks, everybody. Mandy Kaplan, good to see you again. You're not a troll. Tommy still thinks you are.
And you as well. Thank you.
Tommy,
Goodbye forever.
you're all right.
Thank you. I'm doing my best.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
We did it!